My name is Lupe. I'm a senior politics and Latin American studies major at the University of Dallas.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Alcácer, and I am currently a freshman pursuing a bachelor's degree in social work at the University of Texas at Arlington.
We'll be talking to Terresa. She is the Texas House Representative from District 105, and we're going to be focusing on how and why she became civically engaged.
But Terresa Meza es un verso sin esfuerzo, so I go by Terry. I'm a native of Irving. My parents are from Irving, so I'm a fourth generation Irvingite. So my family goes back to the 1800s in Irving. So it's more than just a district I represent. It's more than just, it's my hometown, it's where my family's from. It includes the most diverse zip code in the United States. It's really a joy for me to represent such a diverse district.
What motivated you to first become civically engaged and essentially run for office?
Women's League in Fort Worth. And they were talking about their organization and how they were working to lift up women, especially Hispanic women. So I thought that was really interesting. And so I showed up at one of their meetings, and they were kind of surprised because nobody knew me. So they welcomed me and took me in, and it was really a great environment, a nurturing environment for leadership development, because they were all so supportive and wanted to see me succeed. Since they knew that I was teaching college at the time, they asked me to chair the education committee, which I did. And then we worked so much in that they asked me to be their president. So that was kind of the start of it. What I tell people about my stories, because sometimes people ask, how do you get appointed so much to so many boards and commissions? And I say the answer is to show up. It's amazing how few people do the simple act of just showing up. And so if they're having a meeting on something that a topic of interest at the city, and I would show up, they'd say, well, would you serve on the committee for this? Because obviously you're interested in the topic, you came. But so few people did the simple act of showing up that when you do show up, people realize that you have an interest in it, and they take you in. So the number one step is to show up and speak up. That'll take you a long way doing that, because there's so few people that do the simple act of showing up.
What would you say to a young woman of color trying to get a seat at the table, or who are wanting to find themselves in a leading position like you?
It's important to have a seat at the table. Too long we've been denied. And there's an old cliche that if you don't have a seat at the table, then you're probably on the menu. So we don't want to be on the menu, so we need to be there. We need to have our voices heard, and our voices are really important. Back to what I said toward the beginning, to show up and to be there, and to have to work hard to have a voice in whatever meeting or group that you're being in. And of course, that also involves listening too, not just talking. We often talk about speaking up, but you also need to listen and learn as much as you can, so that when you do speak, you're speaking from a point of view of knowledge on the topic.
Thank you so much for being someone who fights for these issues in our community and is just a voice for our community, to show us, especially women of color, that we have power, we have voice, and we could come out, show up, as you said, and make these differences. And we want to say thank you so much for coming to chat with us, sit down with us, and talk to us about your past and what you're fighting for right now, and answering your questions and sharing your story.